following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. Welcome to RTW Main Event, which used to be a hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of professional wrestling. And now we basically do whatever the hell we want. So without further ado, here's your host, Radicalized Rob Francois.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rad Rob. Rad Rob. You know how long it's been since I've done this? I already screwed it up. Hey guys, welcome back to RTW Main Event. This is episode number, I don't even know, 400 and something. Let's see. This episode number 464. I'm your host, Rad Rob Francois. And I am reviewing last night's night one of WrestleMania 40. Hat's already backwards. I just got back from church. WrestleMania 40 night one from the link in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I do have to say right off the top of the bat, that crowd sucked. I mean, sucked something fierce. Philly is typically a good wrestling crowd. I mean, back in the day, I used to watch on Prism Network. They had live events or house shows from the Spectrum in Philly, and you know it's a good market, like Chicago, like New York. But I don't know if the crowd was too cold to cheer and clap. Maybe it was. It was 50 something to 52 degrees or something like that, and it felt like 45, whatever. I mean, and you're sitting there for at least 5 hours, you know, depending on when you get there with the pre-show and all that, maybe even 6 hours. It's not as long as it used to be when it was one night, but it's still a long time to be sitting out there in the cold. I know they're from the Northeast-ish. They're Philly. They're tough. They're used to football weather. They're used to being out there for 3 hours. But it's still cold. But I don't know. Maybe some of the stuff didn't transfer over. I enjoyed night one. But let's break down the first match. We had Rhea Ripley defending her women against the man, Becky Lynch. Rhea has been the champion since last year's WrestleMania, so a little bit over a year. I enjoyed the build-up to this match. Let's just say this. I didn't enjoy all the build-up to this match. I thought what they did on Ariel Helwani's show, the MMA Hour, was so stupid. You had CM Punk on there for an hour and 50 minutes doing a legit shoot interview, you know, a down-to-earth, honest interview. And then you have Rhea on there completely, right after him, completely in character, and talking about what she's going to do to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and then having Becky call Ariel while they're on the air. Come on, dude. It was so stupid and so hokey. I know I got more eyes on the product. Are MMA fans wrestling fans? Maybe. I don't know. I just thought it was just so hokey. Following up an amazing CM Punk interview with just another part of the angle to build up the tension between Becky and Rhea for the women's world title match. But that did kick off the evening of WrestleMania 40 Night 1. And honestly, I've never been a big fan of Becky Lynch, but I do think she's good. I really think over the last couple of years she stepped up her game. She is a good promo. I have her audiobook. I haven't listened to it yet, but they played excerpts of it, which was a little bit weird before during her entrance. I don't know whose idea that was. Obviously, I don't think it transposed over to the live crowd as well as it did to the people at home. But it is what it is. And Rhea, what can you say about Rhea? I mean, she has really stepped up her game over the last couple of years, especially with her role in the Judgment Day. And I do like what she's done with them and with Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom. It's good. But she's always been fabulous in the ring, and I thought she did a great job last night. as well as Becky. I thought it was a very entertaining match. I actually expected Becky to win. I didn't think Rhea was going to retain, but she did. So I don't know what the plan is for Rhea going forward. I mean, I honestly don't know who they're grooming because again, I'm not watching week to week. In fairness, so I Tiffany Stratton maybe. I don't know. I don't see who's next in line unless it's Charlotte Flair when she comes back from her injury. But how many times have we played out Rhea and Charlotte being the champion? I mean, I know they want to make her like her dad, like a 16-time women's champion or whatever, or the greatest women's champion of all time, blah, blah, blah. Guys, seriously, stop Johnny Jr. and Ocho. I should have put my phone on silent. I owe everybody a beer. But it was a good match to kick off the night and to set the tone for the rest of the festivities. So I enjoyed Rhea and Becky, and Rhea retains her championship. You follow up with that with a ladder match. So we had was it a 6-way match, a ladder match for the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. There was a lot going on in this match, and I think it's been a while since we actually saw a true ladder match at WrestleMania. And I was actually shocked that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships by getting them first. I'm pretty sure we've never seen this before, and it was very unique to have both sets of belts hanging from two different carabiners. And could one team go up and grab both sets of belts? They've tried, but I'm pretty sure since they kind of booked themselves into a corner, not only with Roman being the undisputed Universal WWE, heavyweight champion, combining both of those belts, but also combining both tag team belts when the Usos had them. Where do you go from there? How do you split them up? I still don't know how they're going to split up the WWE title and the Universal title. I don't think they will at this point, which is kind of stupid because, now they have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with Seth Rollins. So again, they kind of booked themselves into a corner when it comes to that. But having two sets of tag team belts hanging from the rafters was really, really neat to see. And Grayson Waller and A-Town took the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and the match continued. They actually tried to go for the Raw set, and obviously they failed. But dude, there were some crazy spots, some botches, knocking somebody off the top of the ladder onto the ropes. Those falls look kind of weird. Dude, the pop of the night for me was R-Truth doing the John Cena's 5 moves of doom and doing the spin out power bomb and then hitting the 5 knuckle shuffle after the attitude adjustment, and then trying to pin during a ladder match was hilarious. And Miz, his tag team partner, pulled him up and said, dude, you can't count here. Look up there. Like, where the hell have you been the whole match? Dude, what R-Truth has done over the last, Jesus Christ, who knows how many years as a comedic character has just been gold. And I don't know if he sold the soul out to the devil. It doesn't look like he's aged in like 25 years. It is amazing how R-Truth is still able to compete. Obviously, he doesn't compete week to week, although he has been used more on TV lately with his tag team with The Miz, Awesome Truth, which is a cool name anyway. It's just so cool to see R-Truth competing at that level and just look like $1 million, man. But he is so funny and so entertaining. In the end, Miz and Truth got their win. Truth grabbed the Raw tag team title belts from the carabiner, and it was a cool moment to see him actually win a WrestleMania match. They said it was just the first match. I don't know how many he's been in. Sorry if they mentioned it and I didn't write it down, but it's his first win at WrestleMania, and he's been in the company for God knows how long. For him and Miz to share that moment at the top of the ladder, celebrating with the Raw tag team title belts was really, really cool. And I thought, look, the other tag teams did great. I thought Tyler Bate, who's so small, but man, he is strong. He had some cool moments. Pete Dunne was great too. I mean, it's DIY was there, and they had some some pretty big ladder spots as well. I kind of thought maybe they would give one set of the belts to DIY. I don't know how. I don't know if I like Grayson. I mean, honestly, I don't like Grayson Waller. I don't. His character's okay. I just don't. I don't necessarily get it. And I think Austin Theory shouldn't be relegated to a tag team, especially with the tag team titles. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But I thought this match was pretty good. I would definitely give it an A. I really enjoyed it. This next match, I hate it when there's outside. I don't want to say outside interference. It was outside interference, but people that aren't in wrestling, I hate it when they get involved in matches. We saw it with Rob Gronkowski during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I think it was in. I want to say it was in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. Get involved, but we'll get to that at the end of the match. But it was Rey Mysterio and Andrade teaming up against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. And even the announcers were like, it's kind of shitty of Dominic Mysterio to insert himself in a match, especially against his dad, when he had no plans for WrestleMania. But yet he inserted himself into this situation. Uh, it's kind of a dick move, right? But I mean, it's kind of like that is a Dominic Mysterio thing to do. That is something that his character would do. I still don't get what the deal is between him and his dad and how long they're going to carry that on. I mean, Ray beat him last year, and maybe he's just still pissed off that Ray beat him last year at WrestleMania. But at this point, it's like, all right, is there anything else we can do with these two guys? I don't mind the LWO stuff, and I look. Andrade did nothing in AEW. I mean, absolutely nothing. He was supposed to be another game changer like everybody else that's went to AEW and didn't move the needle at all, except for CM Punk slightly. But they did nothing with him, just like there's nothing with Rusev and so many others. But um, will Andrade gain some steam here and possibly become a main event player in WWE? Maybe. I thought his run originally in NXT was fantastic. I mean, he was the NXT champion. He had great stuff that he did with Drew McIntyre, but never really did anything of note on the main roster. But putting in a match with Rey Mysterio, with Santos and Dominic was it was all right. It was strong work from everybody involved, but like there's no stakes in it. Like again, I'm not watching week to week, so I don't know how long this angle was built up, if it even was. But what's really involved? It's just two luchadors against another luchador. I mean, honestly, which is cool. But in the end, we had two people come out of the crowd. Which look, if me and my best friend or somebody else would have come out of the crowd and attacked anybody in the ring, we would have gotten our asses beat down. I mean, every time you've seen it over the years, especially like Bash at the Beach when Hogan turned on everybody and formed the NWO, somebody jumped in the ring and Scott Hall just kicked the fucking piss out of him. But no, these two big guys come out of the ring or come out of the crowd with green looked like Philadelphia Eagle masks. I'm like, who the hell is this? Like, and I don't know if Corey Graves gave it away. He was like, it looks like two legends to me. And I'm thinking, well, fuck, man. Like, you're not supposed to be in on it, right? You're not supposed to know what's going on. You're supposed to react just like we do. So I kind of took exception with that. I mean, that's just a little nitpicky thing, but it is what it is. But it ended up being Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson from the Eagles. Well, formerly the Eagles. Kelsey announces retirement this year, but they ran in and they really didn't do much. I want to say I think it was Kelsey threw one of them into the ring post and then shoved them both in the ring. And we got a double 615 on the guys. And Andrade hit his finisher and Ray jumped off the top with a big splash to win the match. Match went about 12 minutes ish or so. So, I mean, it wasn't a long match. I just don't know. This is what happens when there's 2 nights of WrestleMania and you have, let's just say, 8 hours to fill, which the main event almost took that long for Christ's sakes, but we'll get to that. Um, it's a filler match, basically. That's all it is. Not gonna say it's a bad match. It was a decent match. Just really wasn't one of my favorites. It was an Eagles mask. My buddy Joe Babylon, straight out of Philly, he was there. I hope you had a good time, man. Uh, Thanks for coming on and joining me. So yeah, they were both in Eagles masks. It was cool. It was a good pop for the crowd, for the hometown crowd, to see two of their favorite Eagles players. But I don't like it when people outside of the business get involved, just for a spot, especially when it involves the finish. But again, it's not like there's anything on the line here other than pride. So it was a good pop for the crowd. It's the hometown thing. I get it. It just wasn't me. I didn't even like it when Gronk got involved, and I'm a Patriots fan. So when Gronk got involved a few years ago, I wasn't a fan either. I thought it was stupid, but it is what it is. Our next match was the Battle of the Brothers, the battle of the two members formerly of, well, one's still a member of the Bloodline. One is formerly a member of the Bloodline. Jey Uso taking on Jimmy Uso. Entrances were pretty cool. Lil Wayne brought Jey Uso out, which I've never been a Lil Wayne fan, but I mean, it is what it is. But the crowd was hyped for it, and it was a cool entrance, and the crowd was going crazy. The crowd was, I could shit on the crowd all night, but they were definitely into this entrance, let's just say. And then Jimmy came out kind of, low key, pissed off. Obviously a heel entrance. To me, at home, I don't. I want to say at home the match came off better than the crowd's response to this. I thought the crowd was absolutely dead for this match. And Joe, if you're still watching, you can kind of chime in here about Jay and Jimmy. It was pretty quiet. And I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if the crowd was just cold at this point and didn't want to clap or cheer, or if the match was just not structured right. And I kind of want to lean to, I think it's a mixture of both, but I kind of lean to this match just not being booked well. And I don't know who the agent was on this match and how much input the Usos had on the booking of this match, but it was a little too slow paced. Each trading punches back and forth for a while. The brothers trying to best one another, and I kind of get that. I kind of get, give me your shit. I'm going to give it back to you. Let's see who the bigger man is. Let's see who the tougher man is. I get that, but with two vibrant personalities that the Usos are and have, I just didn't like the pacing of this match and the booking of it. And it seems to me, this is just my opinion, but every brother versus brother match since Brett and Owen did their series just haven't been good. The Hardys never had great matches against each other. Scott and Rick Steiner never did anything that's noteworthy against each other in WCW. I don't like the brother versus brother stuff. To me, and I'm an only child, so, but I can't imagine if I had a brother, like, let's say me and my best friend Monkey, Monkey, that's his nickname. Me and my best friend Warren, who are like brothers, and we have been for 30 something years. I can't imagine getting pissed off enough at him to want to kick his ass in a fight. Like, I've never gotten into that. And I don't think the crowd did either. And at one point, it was a Young Bucks super kick party. Jimmy and Jay just kept trading super kicks back and forth, like who can beat the other, like who can hit one harder than the other. It's just it wasn't for me. And then obviously they play the groveling heel, like, I'm so sorry, Jay, I didn't mean it, I'm so sorry. And then he's down, Jimmy's down on his hands and knees saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And Philly is a smart crowd. They always have been. They're all like yelling, no, don't go for it, don't fall for it. Obviously the baby face falls for it, and Jay walloped him with a super kick, went for the big splash off the top, got a near fall, false finish with a 2.5 count. And then Jay ended up getting the upper hand and defeating Jimmy. But It just didn't resonate with me at all. There's Monkey. What up, dog? Yeah, I knew it was coming. Like seriously, everybody knew that was coming, and I've never ever liked the brother versus brother stuff, and this just didn't register with the crowd, and I'm pretty sure it didn't register with most people at home. I had higher expectations for this match, but yeah, Graham, what's going on, brother? Good to see you here. I don't see Jimmy or Jay as singles talents; they're better as a tag team. So I get that, and I respect that, and to a point, I agree. But they've done so much as a tag team, right? And for a long time, what else can they do? I mean, they've been a great tag team for so many years. Their feud with and their matches with the New Day were some of the best we've ever seen. Ridiculously good stuff. And then the whole bloodline stuff they did for the last 3 years or whatever, like, has been good. That's completely played out at this point, honestly. It's so bad that they had to get The Rock involved. And what have they done with Solo? Solo's been getting his ass kicked by everybody. He's supposed to be the enforcer. Ridiculous. I hope they find some way to repair his reputation at some point. But getting back to the Usos as a tag team, getting the undisputed tag team titles and having the main event run that they've had for the last 3 years, there's nothing else they can do. So they kind of, again, back themselves into a corner like, what do we do now? Splitting them up is fine. Look, it's cool. I don't like the fighting together between the two. I don't mind main event Jey Uso. I don't mind him because I think he can have a great run. Possibly maybe a world title run in the future, but it's going to lead me into the Intercontinental title match between Sammy and Gunther here in a minute. I would have rather seen Jey Uso take on Gunther and win the Intercontinental title. That's my personal opinion. If you want to call him main event Jey Uso, while it's still kind of, I don't want to say the mid card title, they've done a great job of making the Intercontinental title mean something again, which it used to. It used to be the workers' title, which again, Gunther hasn't defended it as much as he should have. So you can't really call it a workers' title anymore because it hasn't been defended that often. But they have given a lot of credibility to that title again and made it mean something and made it a big deal. So I would have rather seen somebody like a Jey Uso, who's, look, not young. I mean, he's probably pushing 40 himself. So, but at least it would be a fresher face in the single scene and kind of give him that, hey, I'm main event Jey Uso. I'm going to live up to my moniker. And the crowd loves him. So why not? But we'll get to that here in a second. So, to me, I always thought Jimmy was more talented. I thought he had a better personality. I thought he's funny as fuck. Like watching him on Total Divas. Yes, I was a fan of Total Divas. I thought Jimmy was fun to watch, and Jay was more of the silent, quiet one. I didn't see him showing very much personality, but I think he's done a fantastic job over the last few years, being a single star and really having a decent run. What's up, Adam? What's going on, brother? Adam says, I don't think night one was too much to write home about, but hoping night two picks up. I've heard that from a lot of people, and I really didn't think night one was that bad. Honestly, I think again the Jimmy and Jay match was the Rey Mysterio match was but I mean I really thought it started to pick up with Sammy and Gunther. But before we get to that, we had Jade Cargill, Blanca Belair, and Naomi taking on Damage Control. Say what you want about matches like this when they're just pretty much trying to get everybody in on the card, but I thought everybody did actually did a good job. I didn't have a lot of problem with it. I mean, from the entrance to the final bell. Look, even from her entrance, yeah, like I said, from her entrance, Jade Cargill was built up as a big deal, right? She looks like $1,000,000. She's been green as shit. I never thought she was good in AEW. I thought she was absolutely dreadful. And I think that's why they've used her sparingly in WWE since her debut. And I think that is good. Goes back to Tony Khan saying we don't have a performance center. Well, have you seen the AEW botches account on Instagram and Twitter or X? Mhm. It's fun to watch because you see how many botches there are every week. So many people in AEW don't deserve to be in the ring, especially having TV time, like so precious time, like on TNT, a major station. I still don't know how they have a contract with them, but in any event, this isn't about AEW, but this is about Jade Cargill. And they're using her sparingly. And look at she's not going to put on a 5-star match like Owen Hart, right? She's she is what it is. She's going to be used in spots with her power and charisma. And, right now, it is what it is. Will she get better? Only time will tell. And Bianca Belair has become a star. We know that. Like I wasn't a fan of her from early on, and I had to warm up to her over the years. She's very good. Um, Damage control. It's actually been fun. Like I don't mind Asuka and Io Sky and God bless her. I can't remember the name of the. Oh, you guys are gonna kill me for this one. Obviously, I remember she left and came back. I don't remember her name. I'm so look at with getting old and having diabetes. My memory is shit, and I even watched it last night. But you're right, Adam. Jay does need to utilize the performance center, and I think she has been. I think that's why they've kept her off of TV for the most part, and used her sparing Kyrie Zane. Thank you, Monkey. Jesus, Monkey doesn't even watch every week, and he knows who she is. Kyrie Zane. Yes, I think damage control without Bailey has been fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Bailey tonight for night 2. I'll get over. I'll give my predictions for this after I finish reviewing night 1. But look, this match was what it was. If I had to give it a grade, I'd probably give it a B or a B minus. Belair always steals the show every time she enters the ring. And damage control losing doesn't hurt them at all. Regardless of Io Sky fighting Bailey for the for the women's SmackDown Women's title tonight, I don't think it's a big deal. I think she'll be fine. I don't see her. I mean, she may lose again. Is it Bailey's time to kind of push her as? I don't think she's going to be the old Bailey again with the hugger stuff and all that. But I mean, Bailey has kind of eaten shit for the last few years, and gotten stuck in groups and kind of being relegated to the undercard. And not many people liked her heel run. I thought it was great. I think she was fantastic as a heel. I want to kind of see like a hugger, newer Bailey hybrid. But I'm looking forward to that match tonight. But in any event, will Io Sky lose 2 nights in a row? I think there's a pretty good chance. That leads me to Gunter and Sami Zayn. Sorry, before we get to that, Graham McQuinn says, I agree. I've been very critical of Jade and AW. Very hard to watch. Hopefully WWE can play to her strengths. Yes, absolutely. Adam Wolf says OG Bailey was the best Bailey. Yeah, I mean, she sold as much merchandise as John Cena, almost. I mean, she was right up there. So many people loved her, and especially the kids. Like, say what you want about the PG era and all that. This goes back to old school wrestling booking, right? Back in my day, I don't want to date myself, obviously, but I mean, I'm old, right? I'm almost 48. Back in my day, the number one guy in the world was Hulk Hogan, right? Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself was the fourth demandment. The training, the prayers, and vitamins was always the thing, right? He's on Rock and Wrestling. He's on Hulk Hogan's, they have a cartoon on Saturday mornings in the 80s. He was the guy. Everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was across the world and still do. He still might be the most recognized name in wrestling history. And what did he do? I was 12 when I saw WWE in 88. I saw Hulk Hogan on TV. Now, granted, I wasn't a huge Hulkamaniac, but they had other stars with Hulk Hogan, like the Rockers, Coco Beware, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, these larger than life characters. And they hooked me as a kid to where I used to watch every week until the last couple of years when they absolutely insulted my intelligence. And I just had to stop watching wrestling, especially AEW, because it's so bad. And it's even gotten worse. But I've slowly kind of gotten back into it. I still watch the pay-per-views. But they hooked me as a kid, and I watched for the better part of, let's just say, 35 years, right? So that's what they did. What did they do in the 90s? Well, the 90s were different. The late 90s or the mid 90s was Shawn Michaels, the ultra babyface, Bret Hart, the hardworking technician, had a lot of toughness and grit to him. They were kind of tweeners, honestly, between Hulk Hogan and what we saw in the Attitude Era. So you bring in Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, started having his heel turn, part of the ministry, the whole thing. But Stone Cold was the everyday working man, the guy that told his boss to go himself. And it was a weird dichotomy. We had grunge coming in. Things were different. Bad was good in the late 90s. So it was kind of a difference between, the hokey, larger than life cartoon Hulk Hogan. But that in turn hooked an entire generation who are in their 30s now, late 30s, early 40s, that love the Attitude Era, and that was their shit, right? Art, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What's going on, brother? So that hooked an entire generation. Every generation has cycles. Every generation has hooked the younger kids, right? So you fast forward to the Ruthless Aggression era. John Cena, Rock was on the way out. Taker and Triple H were still around. You still had your Attitude guys, but you had John Cena, who started out as the bad guy with Thug Life and Thugonomics and all that. But then when he transitioned to being a babyface, still kind of had that little bit of Thug Life resonance about him, had the spinner belt and all that. But then he really just skyrocketed WWE's popularity during the mid 2000s to where he was the guy. He was the Hulk Hogan. He was the Rock. He traveled everywhere, literally worked harder than anybody else day and night. Hustle, loyalty, and respect wasn't just a cool catchphrase. It is what he did. That was his lifestyle. That was him. Just blown up to another level, just like we see with Stone Cold has said a million times. I played myself, turned the volume up to 10. That's what John Cena did. Made a lot of money, sold a lot of merchandise. Hooked entire generations. Us older guys hated him because he was winning every single time. I'd go to Hooters and watch the pay-per-views for free, and you wouldn't believe how many wrestling fans walked out pissed off because he was the champion at the end of every pay-per-view, right? So John Cena did his purpose. He wasn't there for me as a 30-something-year-old guy. He was there for the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. The kids like me that got hooked in 1988, he's hooking them in 2008. So that's always been cyclical when it comes to wrestling. You hook the younger kids, and that's your wrestling fan that grows up and buys the products or has their parents buy the products when they're older, right? So I here's where I struggle with it. I feel like that's not happening anymore. And I'm not quite sure how I got on this rant because I think I was about to get into Gunther and Sami Zayn. So I don't even know how I got started on this rant. Maybe somebody can remind me. But I kind of like where I'm going. I didn't plan on it, but I don't feel like they're doing that nowadays, right? Unless we're in that tweener phase, like, between Hogan and Cena, we had Stone Cold. I mean, between Stone Cold and Hogan, we had Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, which were kind of, passing the torch to the next face of the company. Because let's face it, as much as I love Bret and Shawn, didn't have the best ratings. Now, obviously, the business as a whole, even WCW, was down at that point in the mid '90s, but they still were kind of the bridge between the golden era and the Attitude Era, right? So you always have to have something like that. That's where I kind of feel like we are right now. We don't have a solid baby face that we can build on to hook the younger generation and catapult them to the next level. Now, is that the business model that they have right now? Probably not, right? Like, I don't know if Triple H has a vision for that, but Vince's vision lately was the WWE is the attraction. He didn't want anybody else bigger than the WWE. And it's not just WrestleMania. Look, WrestleMania is always going to be WrestleMania. No matter who is wrestling, it's always going to be the pinnacle, the marquee event, right? But as far as having a face of the company, you really don't have one, at least on the babyface side. Baby faces are what hooks the kids. You don't have a super, super white hot baby face right now that you can put on the company's back. Again, I don't know if that's even the business model they're going to have moving forward with Triple H and TKO. To me, it's necessary, and Triple H should be smart enough to know that you're going to need somebody that's white hot, that can sell merchandise, right? That can push the company forward and hooking another generation to where 15, 20 years from now, they're the ones buying the merch. They're the ones taking their kids to the shows. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Again, I don't know how I got on this rant, but I think it's necessary to point out that we're not in that period right now with Roman Reigns holding the title for 3 years. Will Cody be that guy? And maybe I'm underselling Cody by not mentioning him. I just don't know if he's going to be the face of the company. Adam Wolf says, Rob, it's bad to say, but if they write Cody loose tonight, he dwindles back to AEW. He's the face of WWE right now. The way they're presenting him, yes. And again, maybe I'm selling him short. Being on the cover of WWE 2K24 this year, having the amazing documentary that they did about him, American Nightmare Story, was fantastic. If you haven't seen it on Peacock, check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. And maybe last year was the right decision. Maybe having him lose to Roman Reigns after winning his first Rumble, just coming back in the company, after a year later since his debut against Seth Rollins, winning the Rumble, going to WrestleMania. Everyone thinks he's going to finish his story. He had the whole story about Dusty never winning the WWE title. They took it away from him, blah, blah, blah. They stole it from whatever you want to call it. And then losing to Roman, everyone's like, what the fuck? We all expected Cody to win. This has to be the time. And I talked about this early in the week with the vet, Jamie Williams, on day one of RadMania. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out here on the feed, my YouTube channel, Rad Rob Gaming, or the RTW brand feed. Jamie and I talked about that after he gave his WrestleMania story about being a part of The Undertaker's entrance, that if Cody doesn't win it now, what do you do with him? Is he still going to be over? Absolutely. At this point, he is a made man. But can you still kind of put him in the main event scene? So let's just say if it doesn't happen now, it happens at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or, whatever, Crown Jewel, can it happen later? Sure. Can he win it now and lose it tomorrow night on Raw? And his story's finished and boom, we just move on to the next. Gunther beats him or let's just say Damian Priest cashes in tomorrow night on Raw when he least expect it. Sure, that could happen. Will a lot of people be pissed off? Absolutely. 1,000%. I'll get into that a little bit later when we get into our night 2 predictions. But to get off that rant, hold on. Joe Babylon says, if they have Cody loose tonight, they're wasting your time. His time and their time on his story. I agree there is no real face of the company, but that can change. They put money and time into younger talent. 1,000%. 1,000%. Adam Wolf says, basically you're saying that they use him as sort of a money chase. 1,000%. We'll get more into that here when I give my predictions of night 2. But getting off the rant again, I don't know how I got on that. I don't even know where my original thought was. I'm old as fuck. But let's get into Sami Zayn and Gunther. I am conflicted about the booking of this match and what they did. Originally, my prediction was, and this is before they had the Fatal 4-Way, whatever they had to determine who the Intercontinental title or the number one contender to the Intercontinental title would be. Again, talking with the vet, Jamie Williams, we recorded that interview that we had on day 1 this week, a couple of weeks ago. And I had predicted Chad Gable would go to WrestleMania to face Gunther, and he would win because he's the ultimate underdog. It's a David versus Goliath. It'll always sell. It'll always get over, no matter what. But they didn't do it. So they enter Sami Zayn into the equation. Now, to me, Sami Zayn has, other than the stuff he did with Kevin Owens, which was great, he had been a lackey for the last 3 years, right? And even before that, he's doing the whole Sami Zayn's unhinged. He's kind of crazy. He's, doing the whole documentary thing. He's gotten screwed over for how long, blah, 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 blah. And before that, he's having horrible matches with Bobby Lashley. And just, he hadn't done anything, honestly. While I enjoyed his heel stuff, Sami Zayn is the ultimate underdog, right? He is the ultimate babyface when it comes to how much punishment he can take, and he can still fire back, and the crowd loves him. They love his song. They love his entrance. Even when he was a heel, they still love to sing his song, right? And I thought he did a good job kind of being a despicable heel over the last couple of years. Until he kind of became a comedy character with the Bloodline. And I thought what he did there was fantastic as well. But as a star from the Indies, as El Generico in Ring of Honor, and coming into NXT, I thought he was fantastic. Him and Kevin Owens fighting each other was so good. Even the match that he had with Shinsuke Nakamura when Nakamura debuted his first night in NXT, they tore the roof down. I mean, that's still one of the best matches you'll ever see. Transferred to the main roster, what has Sammy really done of note, right? And he's been there quite a long time. Inserting him into this situation and using Chad Gable as his motivator, his trainer, his motivational speaker, was fun to watch, but should it have been Gable himself in that position? There's a case for that. What I did like about this was kind of it's the Rocky story, right? And obviously we're in Philly, and Rocky movies played a huge part of the culture in Philadelphia. And it was kind of cool to have that story, right? Of the underdog, because Gunther has been destroying everybody for the last 666 days, which is kind of weird that it fell on that part. And has been a dominant Intercontinental Champion, restoring credibility and prestige to the Intercontinental title. The announcers did a good job of playing it up. Sorry, what is Cybermonkey 11 says something about the win. The announcer's voice saying new IC champ probably had people crying with them. Absolutely. I'm not gonna downplay the emotion of the match, and I thought the crowd popped for it. I think a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, nobody likes Sammy. This crowd sucked." I think the crowd sucked in general, but whoever was there can chime in. But I thought they popped for his entrance. I thought they were into the match, and I thought they popped for the win. Building up Sammy as the underdog, as the Rocky character, and using Chad Gable as his motivator was fun, right? The vignettes were great. It was fun to watch. And Sammy is the ultimate underdog. He's a guy that just keeps getting beat down, sells like $1 million, dude. I will never ever discredit Sammy in the ring. I don't agree with his, politics or his ethics, personally, but as a wrestler, he's got a fantastic mind for the business, and I thought the match was put together well. Having Sammy's wife there, and she was with his son backstage before the match. He's like, take him away. I don't want him to see this. Make sure he doesn't watch. That's cool, right? I mean, we saw what that did to McFoley's kids when they were in the audience when The Rock beat the shit out of them in that I Quit match at the Rumble. It was like 20 different chair shots to the head. We saw what they did to his wife and kid. The kid goes away, which is great. I love that. I have a daughter myself. I wouldn't want her to watch me get my ass kicked in the ring by Gunther, who's a fucking machine. But having his wife front row in the crowd and panning back into her, back and forth, and kind of seeing the reaction. What got me, and this is very out of character for Gunther, playing back and forth with Sammy's wife in the crowd. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen that side of Gunther. To me, he's been straightforward, an ass kicker in all business. Why would he bat? And I know he's a heel, but just following his character and what he's been presented to us for the last few years, right? Why would he banter with Sammy's wife in the crowd? I don't think he needs to do that. He doesn't need that kind of chicken shit heel to play that kind of role. And if you disagree, let me know. I didn't really go for that. Did it build emotion to the match? Sure. But I just think it was out of line and out of character for Gunther, who's just been a cyborg, just demolishing everybody. That being said, the pacing of the match was fantastic. The back and forth. Look, Sammy's not a small guy. I know Gunther's big, but Sammy's not very small either. Like he's a well built dude. Like you see him walking down the street, and you'll know that he's somebody, right? So he is credible when it comes to that. And he took a ton of punishment, sold like $1 million, and came back and hit haluva kicks on him. Had a nasty top rope brainbuster where he just picked him up, dropped him on his head on the turnbuckle. I think that's a move in WWE 2K24. and pinned him for the win. It was an emotional win. The crowd popped for it. He went over and celebrated with his wife. Really, really cool moment. I love the match, but was he the right guy for that situation? A lot of people are pissed off that it wasn't Chad Gable or somebody else, but who else would you have put in that position? Sammy didn't need that win. As he's a made man, he's over. But I think he kind of did. If you really want to repair what he's done the last few years as a lackey for the bloodline, I think he was the right guy. Because, I mean, again, who else are you going to put in there? Who else are you going to put in there that would be a legitimate threat to actually beat Gunter? Don't give me LA Knight or any of that bullshit. LA Knight it's a party act. I'm sorry. He's not the guy. And Sammy, I won't say is the face of the company or can be the face of the company, but he can be the workers' champion again. He will defend that title more often than Gunter would. Gunter did a good job of being presented kind of as an attraction, and bringing prestige back to that title because who can beat him? Sammy will be more along the lines of Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart when it comes to defending the Intercontinental title, and I think it'll become the workers' belt again. Graham says, I didn't get the bantering either. It was weird. Gunter was built up as this Ivan Dragoff. If he dies kind of character. 1000%. 1000%. I absolutely agree with that. Did it take away from the match? No, not at all. Again, it was just a nitpicky. It's the little things with me, as Art O'Cal used to say. It just didn't fit his character. But I thought it was a great match. I like Sammy with the win. It repairs his reputation, gives him credibility as someone who can take a fucking ass kicking and come back and win and be that emotional underdog babyface. And again, like I said, bring back the workers title is in defending the Intercontinental title. It's always the hard workers people in the sport, while the heavyweights in the world title would do their own thing, like Hulk Hogan, just defend once every 3 months or 4 months. So I was kind of conflicted in the beginning, but the more I think about it, the more I play it out in my head, the more I just put the words in my head out into the air. I think Sammy was great, and I think he can do a good job defending that title. So I'm actually kind of happy with it. That leads us to our main event. You know, say what you want about The Rock and everything with Vince McMahon and all the sexual allegations with him. And I'm not going to go into that because it's just a sore spot and a point of contention for all wrestling fans. And it's a horrible situation regardless. Do I think bringing The Rock in was an absolute stop the bleeding, damage control kind of moment that we need? And with Punk going out, we need, and Brock not being there, do we need stars? Do we need somebody to save WrestleMania? Because apparently they don't think Cody and Roman were able to be big enough to do it on their own, that they have to bring in The Rock. But I do think it was kind of a holy shit, we need to take damage control literally and find out how can we redirect everybody from not thinking about Vince McMahon to thinking about WrestleMania. And I thought The Rock was perfect for that. Rock was always great as a babyface. To me, Rock was better as a heel. When he was in the corporation, they gave him his own pay-per-view, Rock Bottom. I thought he was great. His matches with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the trilogy, were so good. And it's always good, usually when Rock was the heel. So I like Rock being inserted into the situation. Then you have the whole bloodline thing, right? Which has been going on for 3 years. Roman being the champ for whatever you want to call it. Some people say 700 something days. WWE calls it over 1,000 days or almost 1,000 days, whatever it is. It's close to Hulk Hogan's streak. Roman's been the guy. He has had the run of all runs as a heel, which to me, if he ever turns babyface and ends his career, maybe next year's WrestleMania, maybe against The Rock, which is what I'm projecting will happen. We'll have a Roman face turn. And heel Rock is absolutely the best. Graham agrees. Adam Wolf says, say what you want, say what you will about, but I believe the Roman era is well over its prime. And story is like kicking a dead horse. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm actually not going to argue with that. And I think that's why they had to bring The Rock in, because what else do you do? Um, and it's going to be interesting what happens tonight when I get to my predictions, um, to see, because there'll be bloodline rules, anything goes. So, spoiler alert. Obviously, if you're watching this, you wouldn't be watching spoilers anyway, but The Rock and Roman won. But the build up to this has been fantastic. And say what you want about the whole bloodline saga. Has it run its course? Yes. But you can't deny that for the first couple of years, um, it was magic. Putting Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns was a genius move. Whoever's decision that was, it might have been Paul's himself. Who knows? Um, but that first initial spot of seeing Roman on the couch and they pan over and see Paul Heyman, the dastardly son of a bitch that we all hated, sitting next to him, was a holy shit moment, right? Don't lie. Don't say it wasn't. Don't say you didn't pop for it. It was a perfect way to end the show. Putting them together has been great. The wise man has been phenomenal. Um, but The Rock, with the whole press conference, giving that Attitude Era edge by dropping F bombs and literally swearing in like every appearance, The Rock can do whatever he wants. And there was reports from the sheets, from the so-called journalists, the dipshits that think they're wrestling journalists, saying that there's discourse in the locker room and everyone is pissed off that The Rock can do whatever he wants. Well, then fucking step up, become the fucking man of the company, carry the company on your back for a few years, and maybe you'll have the clout and the stroke to fucking do whatever you want. Until then, sit there and shut the fuck up and collect your paycheck, which might have an extra couple zeros. Well, I mean, guaranteed contracts. They probably don't get paid on the house anymore, but maybe they get a bonus for Rock putting asses in the seats. Don't know. But like he says, know your role and shut your mouth. Rock has earned the reputation to do whatever fuck he wants. Plus, obviously, he's on the board of TKO, so he can literally do whatever he wants. Uh, Notwithstanding that, um, the Rock's promos have been fantastic. Cody and Roman back and forth have been great. Cody and Rock back and forth is great. Rock talked about Mama Rhodes. I mean, the best of the best. Like, literally, it's some of the most entertaining stuff you've seen in quite a long time, and has, pun intended, kicked up some extra life and blood into the bloodline situation. It's really kickstarted the entire angle and breathed new life into it. And The Rock's entrance last night at WrestleMania, chills, dude. Literally, I don't care if he's a heel. Everybody popped for that entrance. The wide shot, and then again, it may have played differently to the crowd, but the production crew for WWE has always been top notch. And the wide angle shot of the stage, the stage looks fantastic, with the lightning going back and forth, and then the silhouette of the Brahma bull lighting up on the stage, and fire, and him walking through it and standing in the middle. Fucking badass moment. The badass, the guy, the final boss, which I love. The final boss. Obviously, I'm a video game mark. I stream video games. I have my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out my video game videos, please check those out as well. And subscribe. I absolutely appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything. But I don't ever put myself over like that. Seeing the screen, like final boss activated, and it's just the video game references were so cool. Like final fight, he's the final boss. I get it. It's badass. Does it kind of take away from Roman? Yeah, who cares? But the fuck, he's The Rock, right? Roman can do whatever he wants. He's the fucking Rock. He can be the final boss. And the entrance was so good. Just goosebumps, man. Seriously, goosebumps. His walk to the ring was so good. We've seen the Roman shtick for how long? Nothing much to see there. Cody's entrance was great. Seth's entrance was the crowd loves it. They sing along with the song. But you can't beat The Rock, and especially with that People's title belt he's got that he was given by Muhammad Ali's widow at the Hall of Fame the night before. Which, look, you can say what you want about that. People are pissed off that he kind of disrespected the moment and disrespected Ali's widow and all that. But look, the crowd turned on Rock. The crowd started booing him during a legit cool moment when she gave him that people's title belt, which was a fantastic thing. Even Roman was trying not to cry. Uh, yes, Graham, Rock's entrance was epic. Um, but yeah, a cool moment seeing at the Hall of Fame. And Heyman was fantastic at the Hall of Fame too. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. The Rock's entrance was badass. I'm just gonna say that. And really, I don't understand Seth Rollins' choice of entrance attire, but that's what he's done for the last couple of years, right? So, in any event, this goddamn the entrances probably took 20 minutes. I'm looking at the timer, like we got like almost 2 hours left of the show, right? Because I had to watch it back on the VOD because I wasn't able to watch it live due to family obligations. I had to catch it 3 hours late. But I'm looking at the clock and I'm looking at how much is left in the video, and I'm like, there's almost like 2 fucking hours left. Like, there's no way this main event's going 2 hours. Well, the entrances alone probably took 30 minutes. And the match was a a banger. What can you say about it? Like, it's for the best guys in the business right now, legit. And Rock's real first match in what, 8 years? Or well, he kind of had a match 8 years, but like his first real match in 11 years. Rock has always looked great, but always been too big and too bulky, right? But he looked like old Rock, just a little bit bigger, a lot older. But we all are. There's nothing you can do about it. He looked in true ring shape, which he never looked in ring shape during the whole Cena program for those 2 years, right? Like, and we know all the injuries that he had, and he was blowing up all the time. This was the best Rock that we've seen in a long time. And I want to say he said he had a 12-week training program where he worked his balls off on getting into ring shape, looking like $1,000,000 in the movies, in Fast 5 and Fast 15 and Fast 20, whatever. Is one thing, right? Looking like an absolute just bulky beast, probably on steroids. Not going to say anything. But was never in ring shape, even in that program with Cena. And he was truly fit and looked so good in this match. Um, even better than Roman. let's just say that. Um, it was fairly obvious who was going to win, and I know Joe messaged me, Joe Babylon, that was there, and said that he went home pissed because he wanted Cody to win. That's the point, bro. And I think that was the point of Cody losing last year. Losing again and having him sit there in the ring, arms on his knees, just sitting there, looking at Seth, looking at the crowd, just like we saw last year, is perfect. That's what you want to see when you're probably going to put him over. Um, and who knows how much fuckery is going to be involved in this match tonight with the Bloodline rules. But having Rock and Roman win was the right call. And the match was absolutely spectacular. Cody giving Rock the rock bottom through the announce table was badass. And at the same time, Roman took Seth completely out and speared him through the barricade, which we've seen 1,000 times, but it's still a badass spot. I don't care how many times I see it. It's breathtaking. There were so many false finishes that were enthralling in this match. It was a very physical match. I mean, they literally beat the shit out of each other. Arguably, and they build it as the biggest tag team match in WrestleMania history. I can't argue with that. I can't with these four names in this match at the state they're in right now, and the legacy of The Rock, the legacy that Roman has built, Seth doing his best work since he's been that Joker-ish kind of character, and Cody being the beloved babyface, right? It was magic, and I knew it was going to be good. And I think it was actually better than my expectations, to be quite honest. Like, I knew it was going to be a good match, but it overperformed. Like, I knew I would be emotionally invested in it because of the last 3 years and you know what Cody went through in AEW and came back and all that, and losing last year and winning the Rumble again. Writers somehow fucking it up and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to have my title match. I'm going to give it to The Rock." They were like, "Oh fuck, it's gonna be Rock and Roman." Like, why are they doing this to Cody? And then a couple weeks later, having the press conference, and now it's Cody again. I don't know what the hell happened there. And obviously, this is during the whole Vince thing. kind of in damage control. There's kind of other things going on other than wrestling. Uh, I don't understand what happened there in that like week or two period, but they righted the ship. They got it right. And with Punk going out, I kind of want to say it was a blessing, because not only that, like, we're gonna have Punk on commentary tonight during the Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins match for the World Heavyweight title, but um, we've gotten a new Drew McIntyre who's been, holy shit, fantastic, right? So with Punk going down, with Brock Lesnar supposedly being involved in his sexual allegations, and we expect him being on the card. We expect he's going to take on Gunter, but obviously that didn't happen. And I think things are fine with Brock now, as far as I know. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, having Seth involved in this tag team match was actually pretty cool. And I don't know what the original plan would have been if, obviously it would have been Punk and Seth. That's the program they were building. But I don't. Then what was the plan with The Rock and Roman and Cody? Would have been a triple threat. I don't know. And I think they were worried about Rock. I think they put him in a tag team match because they didn't know how well he's going to do because of his past matches, and 11 years ago, and not being in ring shape. But he obviously was ready for it. Brock is listed back on the roster. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. So everything happens for a reason. I think it worked out well in Drew's favor, and it worked out obviously well in Seth's favor, being put in this huge angle, this huge tag team match. So perfect way to end the night. Roman and Rock winning. Let's say that 5 times fast. Roman and Rock winning. Seeing Seth and Cody there sitting with their hands on their knees, like, fuck me, dude. Like, what do we have to do to beat these guys? Seth got his ass kicked. Is he going to be in any shape to defend his title against Drew tonight? Is that going to hinder him? Is Drew going to win? Cody not being able to beat the Bloodline again and having to face them tonight in a Bloodline rules match. That was the stipulation, and depending on who won the match, where anything goes, you were going to expect Jimmy Uso to be there. You're going to expect The Rock to make an appearance. You're going to expect Solo Sikoa, obviously, to be there. Excuse me. So it adds more intrigue to the match. It even stacks the deck even further against Cody Rhodes, which is what you do in wrestling booking. You put the babyface against all odds. Can he overcome this insurmountable situation? That's old school booking, bro, as Vince Russo would say. And that's what sells tickets. So perfect way to end night one. So getting into the card of night 2, let me pull it up here. I'll give my predictions here. Overall, again, my opinion of night 1, a couple of matches sucked, but on the most part, I was entertained. And I thought it was great. So night 2, here's what we have on CBS.com. I'm assuming these are all the matches. There's only like 6 matches, so yeah. I think that's it. We're gonna have a World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. Drew has done fantastic stuff with Punk getting hurt. Drew saying that he was the cause of it, going around saying I broke Punk's arm, having a shirt that says shows him and CM Punk's WrestleMania main event hopes, and it's a gravestone. That's beautiful stuff. Drew just getting on TikTok or whatever and just talking shit about how he broke Punk's arm and how he's going to win the world title and Punk sucks. So good. And then the confrontation that they had where Drew sits down cross-legged on the announce table like Punk does and just goes back and forth with him 2 weeks ago on Raw was so good. And then Punk saying, "Wow, who chose you to be the man the first time, huh? Who made you the chosen one?" Knowing it was Vince and asking Drew to say it, and obviously he wouldn't, was so good and such a great touch. So good. I've enjoyed the whole kind of, I don't want to say lover's quarrel, but the whole kind of triple triple threat love story or hate story between Punk and Seth and Drew. And, where does Punk fit in when he comes back? He has a built-in program with Seth, who he had heat with to begin with, and that's where they were building originally. And he's got mega heat with Drew, who allegedly broke his arm, right? Who, fucked up his arm and tore his tricep. So no matter who wins the World Heavyweight Championship match, um, it would be good if Drew won because they're going to take a couple of UK trips this year, like big pay-per-views. They're going to have another Clash at the Castle. I think they're doing an event in Germany. They're doing an event in Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So you go to other countries in the world, and Drew McIntyre is this big hulking beast, right? Like he should have been the entire time. The DM Hunk stuff was was good too. And Seth did sell his leg. So it will be a big. You're right, Graham. It'll be a big factor tonight in Drew's match, which almost makes you think Seth is going to win. Like Seth is going to be able to pull it out, and keep his title and still, be the guy on Raw and be the world champion. But I again wouldn't mind it if Drew won and kind of give him the moment that he should have had during the pandemic when they had the empty performance center match where he won the world title and couldn't celebrate in front of everybody at Raymond James Stadium and lost his moment. It would be cool personally as him, as the person, not the wrestler, to see him get that moment in front of the entire world in a stadium there. Even though he's a heel, I still think people will pop for it. It's going to be an interesting match because, again, Philly is a weird crowd, and I'm not sure who they're going to root for. Do they love singing Seth's song? Well, yeah, of course. Every mark loves singing along the songs, right? They do it everywhere. But they're also smart enough to know that Drew is a badass and Drew is fun, and he's been that fun, cool heel like NWO type shit, right? Where it's supposed to be a bad guy, but he's kind of a tweener, and we love him anyway. So I don't know how the crowd's going to react to this match and react to who wins, but having CM Punk on commentary obviously isn't going to mean shit to the people in the crowd, but the people at home, Punk is great. I've enjoyed Punk's commentary on MMA matches when he's made appearances. I think he's going to add a lot to the people at home watching this match and furthering the drama. And him having heat with Seth and Drew is just beautiful. Will he play a part of the match if there's maybe a ref bump or whatever? Possibly. I don't think either Seth or Drew would take a tainted win. I mean, obviously Drew would, but I don't think Seth would agree to winning that way since he's kind of the baby face right now. And he's a little bit of a tweener too. So it's a weird dichotomy to the match, but I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be, if not the match of the night, the second best match of the night to the main event. But my prediction is tough. I can see it going both ways, and I'm completely torn. But if I had to, gun to my head, if I got to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre to be the new World Heavyweight Champion. And we'll see. Punk says he's healing faster than everyone expected. He said that the healing between the two torn triceps, I believe the left arm was in AEW, and he said on Ariel Helwani's podcast, I literally had to find my own specialists and find my own doctors to help get this fixed because AEW did nothing to WWE's world-class treatment facilities and trainers and doctors. He got the best treatment. He's having a fantastic rehab, and he's far ahead of where he should be. It's not out of the realm to say, and he even kind of alluded to it, that he may be back for SummerSlam. So if we have Seth versus Punk at SummerSlam for the world title, I'm cool with that. If we have Drew versus Punk for the world title at SummerSlam, that's even cooler for me. So again, if I got to pick between the two, I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre, and we'll see what happens from there. We have the Final Testament, Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits in a Philadelphia street fight. Again, this is probably just going to be a filler match to get more people on the card because we have more time to fill for 2 nights. We got to fill at least 8 hours of programming at the very least. I really don't have anything. This is like the Dominic in Santos Escobar match, versus Ray and Andrade. There's no stakes really. It's a Philly street fight, so let's just get a gimmick match for the home crowd, right? Like what the fuck, like a Texas death match for a Chicago street fight, whatever town you're in, fill in the blank street fight, whatever, dude. It is what it is. Lashley has no purpose. The Street Profits are entertaining, but seriously, they're not taken seriously. And you got Cross and the Authors of Pain. I couldn't give two shits about them either. So this will be a popcorn match. This will be a bathroom break match. I don't see much going into it. So if I had to predict somebody, you're probably going to go with the baby faces. I'll take Lashley and the Street Profits. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This to me is an interesting match. And admittedly, I'm not on the LA Knight bandwagon. I don't think he's the face of the company. I think he's like a fandango, right? Like he's cool for the moment. Everybody doing the yeah thing. Like he's throwing first pitches at baseball games. The crowd was doing the fandango fucking dance, or whatever, during football games and basketball games. It's a gimmick that I don't think is ever going to be transferred over to the main event scene, especially given his age. But I do like the buildup they've had between him and AJ Styles. AJ is a heel. Again, in my opinion, throughout his entire career, I like babyface AJ in TNA in the early days. Good looking kid, very entertaining, not great on the mic at all, but can go in the ring like a Ricochet, right? That was the early incarnation of AJ Styles. Putting him with Ric Flair, becoming a heel in TNA Impact, did wonders for him. Number one, made him a better promo because Rick was one of the best of all time, and really did some great character work, which we didn't have from AJ Styles. Fast forward to the Bullet Club, everything he did in Japan, being the leader and all that, blah, 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 blah. Coming into the Royal Rumble, his debut in WWE, God, at this point, what the hell is it, like 7-8 years ago? Like, he's had a fucking hell of a run. To becoming a heel again, being the face that runs the place and running SmackDown, genius stuff. Absolutely killer promos, killer in-ring work. AJ has cemented his spot as one of the greatest of all time. Absolutely should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, no question. Has earned that respect, mainly, honestly, for his WWE run. I'm not taking away anything else he did for him, but like he made himself a mainstream character by being that good in WWE at a downtime. Obviously, LA Knight's probably going to win. I'm going to take him to win. I think it'll be a great match. I think AJ will carry most of the match, even though he's like 44 years old. And LA might be pushing 40 or in his 40s as well. I expect it to be an entertaining match. I expect it to be high flying, hard hitting. I think it's going to be good. It'll be a solid match. And the buildup has been great. Them fighting each other at Access or WWE World, whatever they call it now, was cool. And but if I had to pick who's going to win, not that I really care, because I like. See, I put myself in the corner. I said I didn't like LA Knight, but I kind of do. I just don't see him as the guy. I do like both guys, but I'm going to pick him to win, which is pretty babyface heavy so far. That leads us to the WWE Women's Championship match. This is going to be a babyface night for the most part. I'm just going to say that. Other than Drew winning, I've picked babyfaces to win the rest of the matches. Io Sky defending her WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. Here's another thing. We have the Women's World title and we have a WWE Women's Championship. Shouldn't the name itself diminish the other one? Like, isn't the Women's World title supposed to be like the title? And then we have the WWE Women's Championship. It was kind of like before, it was the big gold belt, the World Heavyweight title, and the WWE title, like, which is worth more? I don't know. That's just me being nitpicky. Former partners in Damage Control, Io Sky and Bayley. I mentioned Bayley earlier in the show about how great I think her heel run has been, how fantastic she was as the babyface hugger, selling almost as much merchandise as John Cena. It's going to be cool to I kind of want to see like a hybrid character between Hugger Bayley and the new kind of heelish baby Bayley. I like what's going on. I liked her winning the Rumble. I was absolutely behind it. It's great to see her back in the main event scene after being put in a group for the last couple of years, and not really doing much, being fodder for Charlotte and Becky and Rhea and Bianca and all that. I want to see Bayley get back to being the woman, right? Being the one. I don't think Io Sky has a fucking chance in hell to win. I'm picking Bailey to win, so that's another babyface. That leads us to the United States Championship match. We have a triple threat: Logan Paul, who has been incredible. Say what you want about him. He's a douchebag. You don't like him, whatever. He makes money. Um, his impulsive podcast is very popular. Even signing an exclusive deal with WWE for Prime Energy and Prime Drinks. That's huge. Like they literally put his logo in the middle of the ring. Like that's monumental to a businessman like Logan Paul, which he is a fantastic businessman. And while I never like people outside the business getting into it and getting involved, like Bad Bunny and all that bullshit, Logan Paul has proved that he loves wrestling and he's in it for the long haul. Has been used as an attraction, which is what he should be, but has just re-signed a multi-year deal where I think he's going to wrestle more. I think he's earned his spot there as a really good wrestler, not just an amazing high-flying athlete like Ricochet. He can talk, and that's what Ricochet lacks, and that's what Ricochet will never be on the main event level. Logan Paul can get there eventually. And as douchey as he is, I think he could be a fantastic babyface if they ever decide to turn him, which I think they probably will at some point next year. Um, but right now, he's probably the most hated guy, and he's going against Randy Orton, who doesn't have many matches left. This could possibly be his last WrestleMania, and Kevin Owens being involved as well. Kevin Owens's KO Mania shirts, which is KO Mania 8, I believe, this year. Is so funny. It's a picture of them in a triple threat match on a T-shirt with their names underneath, and it says Logan Paul sucks. It got arrow pointing to it, and Randy, oh, he's cool. And then arrow pointing himself saying, "That's me." Uh, Kevin Owens is great. I love that stuff. Graham O'Quinn says, "I've been so impressed with Logan Paul, and it really hurts me to say that." Preach, brother. Seriously. Um, Agreed. When I went to SummerSlam, God, I can't believe it was 2 years ago in Nashville, his match was so good. Um, he really stole the show, and he really cemented to me there. Even his match with Roman was really really good, and he proved that he belongs. But having him in there with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, how bad could it possibly be, right? Like we're all expecting something good to come out of this match, and I don't mean how bad can it be, like how this match going to suck. I guess I should have better worded that. There's no way this match can be bad, given the three people that are in that ring. And we know triple threat matches. Somebody always takes a powder. You'll have two guys fighting in the ring. I hate that kind of booking, but I mean I kind of get it. But I want to see a lot of three-way action. Pause. But you know, it's going to be a good match. Randy Orton's been there forever. Kevin Owens has always proven that he can have a great match. And Logan, being that heel that you just want to punch his face because you can't stand him because he's such an arrogant douchebag, makes for the perfect foil, right? I think Logan's going to win. I honestly think he's going to retain his title. I don't. Randy doesn't need a title. He's Randy Orton. Kevin Owens is still a made man himself. He's been there long enough. He has the respect of the people. He was the main event was Stone Cold a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was. So Kevin doesn't need a title either. He's already been U.S. champion. You need Logan to be the man because whoever is going to beat him eventually, they're going to get a good push. So while I've picked mostly baby faces so far, I see Logan defending his title here. That leads us to the main event. Jeff Skyers, what's going on, brother? 10-piece family meal from Popeyes with mashed taters and slot for tonight's Sunday WrestleMania. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are correct. It is Popeyes night here at the Francois House. No, pizza and wings are usually my go-to. So we'll see. So the main event for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, the reigning champion Roman Reigns for 1,000+ days, whatever it's been, taking on Cody Rhodes, the babyface, the underdog, in a Bloodline Rules match, which, as we were explained by the announcers, anything goes. So obviously, we're going to expect a lot of fuckery in this match. We're going to expect Solo Sikoa to be there. We're gonna expect The Rock to be there. We're gonna expect Jimmy Uso to be there. So the rumors I'm hearing on the other side, who can foil the Bloodlines' plans. This reminds me not only of the Sting Triple H match where we had DX against the NWO to kind of fuck around outside the ring and give a nostalgia pop. It goes back even further than that. Uh, some of you people should remember the match between Sting and Ric Flair for the world title at WCW Great American Bash in 1990. Flair was obviously a member of the Four Horsemen. But Sting had the dudes with attitudes, which were the Steiners and Lex Luger, I believe. They came down to keep the Horsemen at bay, to keep Ole and Arn, and I think it was it Sid at that time? Yeah, Sid was a member of the Horsemen, and maybe Barry was there too. I know Ole was their spokesperson because he kicked Sting out of the Horsemen, but yeah, I think it was Arn, Barry, Sid, and Flair is the main wrestlers. So the dudes with attitudes countered the Horsemen during that match, and Sting won his first world title in Baltimore. I think that's what's going to happen here. We're going to have the Bloodline down there, all members of the Bloodline, and from the rumors that we're hearing, Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena were supposed to play a major part of WrestleMania, but have not been announced for anything at all. I think Jey Uso will be there. I think you'll hear the glass break, and you'll hear Stone Cold first, probably, and then Cena, or you'll save Stone Cold for last, whichever. Jay and John and Steve will be on Cody's side. Because I don't think Seth needs to be there, even though he was in a tag team match with Cody. I don't think they're that good friends to where he needs to defend the honor of Cody. But I think it's going to be fun to see how those two sides play out. But I don't want any of them to play a part in the finish. And this is where it comes into the conversation I had with the vet, Jamie Williams, on day one of RadMania this week, near the end of the program when we were talking about what was going to happen. There's two ways this could play out. Both those sides could cancel each other out. Cody gets the clean win and finishes the story, and everyone goes home happy. Or, actually, there's three ways it can play out. Roman can win and everyone goes home pissed, and Roman's still a champion. He goes on to pass Hogan's streak and then loses at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or whatever. That's still in the cards because you never know, brother. If they pull the swerve, bro. Or somebody could help Cody win, kind of give it a tainted victory, because Cody obviously can't beat Roman Reigns cleanly. He's got to have somebody help him. The fans may get smart to that and may kind of turn on Cody. And you'll obviously have that section that is happy that he won, but you're going to have some others sowing seeds of discontent, saying that, well, the only reason Cody won is because he needed help. He lost to Roman last year. He lost in night one with Seth against Drew and against Rock and Roman, and he gets a tainted victory in night two. So while he does finish his story, there's still questionable circumstances behind it. Could that set up for the rubber match? I don't know when Crown Jewel is. It's probably before SummerSlam. I think they announced it last night, but I wasn't paying attention. Could that set up for the rubber match in which Roman maybe take the title back? Which, hey, look, Cody finished the story, and Roman still is the man on the head of the table. Sure, that could possibly happen. What comes out of that, though, is you can actually, I don't want to say do a double switch, because I do think Roman's going to turn face and end his career as a baby face, citing, look, I haven't had I haven't had a lot of defenses because of the after effects of leukemia, which I really think he is dealing with. And that's why he hasn't been able to work a full-time schedule, is because of the toll that it's taken on him. And I think he's still dealing with the after effects of that. So I think you can almost, I hate using the cancer card to get over because I feel like that's something WWE would do. But I do think Roman's going to finish his career as babyface. I also think that Cody could turn heel out of all this. And this was Jamie Williams' idea, and he's got a fantastic mind for the business. Check him out on HMG, Hameen Media Group, the vet on the shows that he's on. And check him out at Opinion Haver on Twitter. He said that if Cody gets a tainted win, which is entirely possible given all the people that are going to be around the ring tonight, and who knows who can help him win? Could be The Rock. Who knows? If Cody gets a tainted win, he being the ultimate babyface, right? Being the ultimate proud, pride of the Rhodes family, carrying on his father's legacy, doing what his brother could never do. Let's just call it what it is, right? He has a lot of pride, which is also one of the 7 deadly sins. If he feels like he didn't earn that title, and if the crowd actually plays out the way I hope it would, having some of those people in the crowd that don't give him respect because it was a tainted win, right? And he needed to earn it and he didn't. If Cody doubts himself in his mind and says, I didn't earn this title, and kind of almost goes haywire, like a throwback after dashing Cody Rhodes to Cody Rhodes with the mask and all that. I'm sorry. I forgot what they called him at that point. But him kind of having conflicts inside of his head, and I don't want to say split personalities, but this could actually turn him heel. Like either he tried to get sympathy because he feels bad and his pride was hurt because of his tainted win, or he said, you know what, that's right, I did get help to win, but I'm the champion now and you're not, and regardless of how I won the belt, you all are jealous. That turns Cody into a heel. Who do you have against Cody to chase then? That's the gray area where we fall into. Like, it's a cool theory, and I think they could pull that off. Like Cody saying, "I don't give a fuck how I won the title. I'm the champion. I finished the story. You don't like the way I did it? Fuck off. I could care less. I'm the champion." That would be a very interesting piece of business because I don't want to say I'm tired of the over the top baby face that Cody is. I'm tired of his cheesy smile. It has nothing against him. I'm just saying the way he's presented. I didn't like it in AEW. I thought he was a better heel in AEW. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he could get the clean win and finish his story. And who knows? Like I said, maybe Priest could cash in on him at the end, or Priest could cash in him tomorrow night on Raw and win the title. And then you got Cody chasing Priest. Is Priest the main event guy? No. God bless him. I love him. I don't think he's on that level. I don't even think giving him this title will put him on that level. It's going to be a Jinder Mahal effect. Like, Jinder did great work, but nobody's going to like him. There's many different ways they can go moving forward. What does that set us up for at the following pay-per-views at Clash of the Castle, or which may be after SummerSlam? I'm sorry if my timeline sucks, but I'm assuming Crown Jewel might be before SummerSlam. While I don't expect anything major to happen there, it's usually just a filler event. What do we see moving forward to the second biggest event of the year, the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam? I see Punk against Drew. Could be Punk against Seth. It will be CM Punk. I believe he'll come back early, given that he's ahead schedule in his rehab. Where do you go with the Universal title? I think you have to keep both belts together, the undisputed title, the Universal title, and the WWE title, because now that we have the WWE World Championship, you can't have 3 world title belts. They fucked themselves by bringing 2 titles together. I thought the Universal title to begin with was a stupid ass idea, but whatever. It's been like 7 years now. It is what it is. If it's Cody, who does he fight? Who does he take on at SummerSlam? I'm going to lean towards Gunter. Gunter losing the Intercontinental title was on purpose. It was planned. He had a fantastic run, 666 days. I don't know why they picked that day. or that just happen to be luckily enough or horribly enough to be 666. But I see him moving into the main event scene. And I see him taking on the undisputed champion. I think Roman's going to take time off. I don't know if you put him into the picture. Maybe he'll get destroyed by The Rock tonight or something. Maybe they'll have some kind of discontent or Rock was behind this all along, or he still wanted to be the head of the table and I was just pretending to be on Roman's side because I've been there first. I carried this company on my back for a few years. I am the guy. I am the final boss. I am the head of the table. That's where we saw it going initially when they announced Rock and Roman. He takes Roman out. Roman takes a few months off, comes back, and maybe we have Rock and Roman at SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't see Roman being in the title picture if he loses tonight. But I think Gunther would be a perfect person to chase Cody Rhodes and probably beat him, to be quite honest. Or Cody is the next John Cena and carries the company for the next 3 years and doesn't lose. And he's the guy. He's the Hulk Hogan. He's the John Cena. That's possible. He could beat Gunther. Gunther's relegated to fucking losing all the time now, and it's feeding the monsters to the babyface, and the babyface is the champion. That's WWE was always a babyface territory. That's the way it's been for many years. So that's where I think they go in the future. So that being said, Cody's going to win, whether tainted or not. He's going to walk out here, long story short, as the champion. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you think will win tonight in the main event, and where do you see them going in the future? Do you agree that Cody is going to win and he's going to get fed all these monster heels like Solo, like Gunther, and he's going to beat them all? I think that could be where they're going. With Triple H at the helm. Who knows? Maybe Triple H has a different view. Maybe he has a different way of booking. Maybe he won't do the typical McMahon, babyface style WWE that we've seen for the last 40 years. But there you go. That's my thoughts on night one, my predictions for night two. Now, I don't know if I'll be doing it live. I may do it live. It depends how tonight goes. I'd like to be on live after the show to give the night two post-game review. That was the initial plan. But with family stuff going on in church tonight, I'm probably gonna have to watch it late, which means I'll be behind. I will be behind, and maybe have to give this review tomorrow, but we'll see. Thank you for the guys here in the chat. Thank you very much for coming in and listening to an old man talk about wrestling. I hope you enjoyed this program. This is day 6-ish of RadMania 6, my week-long event that I do kayfabe every year. I didn't have 5, but we skipped a year, but who cares? I'm still calling it 6. For all you assholes out there, like, what happened? You didn't have RadMania 5. Suck a dick. But this is the 6th program I put out this week, and hopefully tonight will be the final night. I mean, obviously it'll be the final night, but hopefully it'll be tonight, not tomorrow. It'll be day 7 of RadMania 6, my WrestleMania 40 night 2 review. So I'll either see you tonight or sometime tomorrow. Follow me on Instagram and X at Rad Rob Gaming. If you want to check out my bowling, seriously, check out my bowling show. It's called Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., or just search Straight Up 5 podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, any major podcast app, or on YouTube, Straight Up 5 podcast. It's a fantastic show. The son of a living legend, Johnny Petraglia Jr., and Ocho, the Ocho, formerly of the Brothers Grappler, and I have a fantastic show, which actually has done better than any other show I've ever done. Which, say what you want about bowling or wrestling or politics or whatever else I've done, which I think have been good shows, this one has outweighed them all. So if you're not into bowling, I still think you can get something out of it because it's an entertaining show. But yeah, you're right, Graham. We ain't old, we're classics. Thank you, Graham, for coming on. I will talk to you later, brother. My brother down from Texas. I do appreciate that. But yeah, check out that. I really have nothing else going on. Even RTW has taken a hiatus because I just don't have time to watch wrestling every week or the desire. So this this baby, my original incarnation, I started 6 or 7 years ago, Rad Turtles Wrestling, or RTW, is only being resurrected for now for this week. But my other shows have gone by the wayside, with Drake Wirtz having his own demons, Teddy Hart having his own demons. Really, all I do is Straight Up 5. So check it out. Check me out on right here on YouTube. Check out my video game videos. I got like 1,500 videos up. Rad Rob Gaming. For those of you listening in the audio podcast, follow me on YouTube at Rad Rob Gaming. That's all I got, guys. I'm going to enjoy the festivities tonight, night 2 of WrestleMania 40. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some banger matches. I think night 2 will end up being better than night 1, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. We'll see how my predictions hold up, and hopefully you guys will also enjoy the festivities tonight from the Link in Philly. One final thought: have they not pumped up the history of WrestleMania enough? Like, it's the 40th anniversary. I know we can't have clips of Vince McMahon like WrestleMania. That's why we had Triple H come out and take the Vince program of Welcome to WrestleMania, which sucks. It does suck. Like, Vince McMahon ruined his life, over trying to get laid, and ruined his legacy. And say what you want about that, but it's literally the fucking dumbest thing you could ever do is put any of that in writing in text. Like, you gotta be a fucking moron, right? So we can't play the clips of him in it, but like, you figure the 40th edition of WrestleMania, that's a huge deal. Only the Super Bowl and like the Oscars have a longer run than WrestleMania. Like, it's truly remarkable that we're at the 40th year of WrestleMania. I started watching live WrestleManias at WrestleMania 5 in '89. That was my first one I ever saw live in pay-per-view, and that's so long ago. That's 35 years ago, which, holy shit, I'm old. So I don't think they've made a big enough deal about the history and the past of WrestleMania, and I think they're just in kind of a crossroads where we don't know how much we can actually. God, I need Manscaped. I gotta use my where'd I put my trimmer? Fuck, it's here somewhere. I gotta shave. I gotta touch up the beard. Anyway, I just got caught in a rant because I see little gray hairs that just. This is the longest fucking hairs in the world. It sucks they haven't really been able to have a showcase. And look, they did with the video game 40 years of WrestleMania. But I mean, how many people that watch WrestleMania play WWE 2K24? They should have done more to showcase the history of WrestleMania on the actual pay-per-view when you have so much time to fill. And maybe they did during the pre-show. I didn't watch the fucking 16-hour pre-show. So maybe they did. But bring some legends out, right? Like, and I'm sure they'll bring out the Hall of Fame class tonight, but Hall of Fame class is what it is this year. Let's just say, Triple H picked the guys who he wanted. It is what it is. It's the 40th anniversary, and I feel like they didn't do enough to pay homage to the legacy of the company. But again, how do you do it without Vince McMahon, which is really who probably put them in this position? That's probably why they're not. So it is. That's just my final thought. Anyway, I'm rambling. I got to go get ready for tonight. We're a couple hours away. So everybody, thank you for joining me here live on YouTube and Twitter or X and Twitch, however you may be watching, and Facebook. And we'll see you tonight or tomorrow for WrestleMania 40 Night 2 review to wrap up RadMania 6. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the show tonight. Take care, guys.